Hello, my name is Johnny. Welcome to another awesome collection, pop culture edition. Today we're going to look at a book about the Man from U.N.C.L.E. television show. Came out in the late 1980s. Just take a look through it a bit. If you'd like, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, like, reply, and share. This book came out in 1987. There. I believe I got it in the late 1980s, 89. Take a look through here. You've got your table of contents. I have a lot of TV books. I did a video, I'll leave that a link to the end of the complete series on DVD and a neat attache case. Of course, that was many decades before this book came out. So they've got information about magazines and so forth. For a girl from U.N.C.L.E., man from U.N.C.L.E., this covers it all, including the 1980s movie. They've got episode guide. And what's neat about this, at least for me, is looking at the plots and so forth, and then like there you go, seeing who was in some of these. Like there's Edward Andrews and John Carradine and so forth. And if you're not watching them just in order, if you want to pick out a few, I always like to see certain episodes of like one of the more recent ones I saw was an early episode of Man from U.N.C.L.E. with Claude Akins. Always loved him. He was like a South American dictator, and it was kind of funny. He had a monkey that was dressed up as a Generalissimo outfit. There's the fourth season. That was the last season. That was a shorter season. One of my favorite episodes on that is with Darren McGavin. Of course, I see Darren McGavin every year with the Christmas Story, and then also every year watch at least a couple of the Kolchak television shows, and he was a lot of other things too. So they've got a nice basic review. Got a couple of pictures on the pages as you go. When it was aired, when it was filmed, so that you can see that there. And then some of these are different titles, and some of them were re-released as movies here in America and overseas at the time. I just saw Harlan Ellison's name as one of the writers. Retta Shaw, if you've never seen her, she's usually a white-haired lady, a little bit heavy set, a very cool actress of the time, middle-aged to older. She was in like Ghost and Mrs. Chicken and a ton of other things, Odd Couple and so forth. There's the third season. I just saw, what was the third season, whatever, the one where they had the gorilla, and they were doing the Watusi. Napoleon Solo was doing the Watusi with a man in a gorilla suit. The height of the kitsch, a lot different from the earlier first season where serious. There they are with some of the guns. Yeah, we'll see in here they cover a lot of the merchandise and toys, so I don't want to spend that much time looking at the different plots here. There's an early one. Robert Culp was in the Shark Affair. Of course, next season he'd be on a 3-season show of his own with Bill Cosby, I Spy. This book, of course, is out of print. They might have made more books about the show since then, but you can always get out of print books in various places online. There's from the 15 Years Later affair, where, of course, Mr. Waverly, Leo G Carroll was dead, but they brought in Patrick Macnee from the British show The Avengers. I remember seeing that movie at the time, and that was before I was able to ever see Man from U.N.C.L.E. in reruns. So a lot of photos, a lot of information. There's a chapter on the girl from U.N.C.L.E, the 3rd season, awards, the movies that they made. There's some of the merchandise and toys. They had a whole lot of things from Ideal Toys, a lot of the guns. I have a couple of the comics. I think I did a combination video where I showed some of the comics. It would have been really cool. There's a neat from the late episodes with that car. Look at the neat shape of it. Kind of that gull wing things. Merchandising U.N.C.L.E. And of course there's the gun. They spread it out into a huge box. So that would be a great birthday present, anytime present, Christmas present. Huge with all that wrapping. Look at how big they made the box by Ideal. Tons of, there's more on the car, the gadgets, the guest stars, props. There's Werner Klemper. There's alien and different faces made up. Back when actors could be actors and portray things. Stunts. I have other books on Hogan's Heroes, I Dream a Genie, and so forth. Shows that I like and saw a lot when they came out with a trade paperback book like that. I always tried to pick those up. Odd Couple, All in the Family. Maybe one day I'll gather them all up. I just finally got to the shelf where these were and got this one. Guest stars. I mean, they had a Telly Savalas was on here. This was a neat one. The Fresh Robots. So that's actually the Robot Commando toy by Ideal. If you're familiar with vintage toys. That was blue and red, predominantly in plastic color. I think I want to see that one. The Jay North from after Dennis the Menace. He was getting taller. They have tons of extras. I covered that in the DVD review of the set. They might have come out with another version of it where it's cheaper. Sometimes they do that with sets. You pay a lot initially, and as the years and decades go by, there's behind the scenes filming, directing, producing, the making of the series, the 2nd season. So tons and tons of information. Moving the time slot, finding success. Yeah, so it came on, it wasn't doing that one, and then they moved it, and then it really shot up in the ratings, and it was riding high, and then as shows go, you know, a lot of other shows come on and things lose interest. But it's good that they made over 100 episodes. That's a neat actor. He was in a ton of stuff. The Vil Kolova, he was in a really neat Hawaii 5-0 episode. Tons of episodes of things. You start to see when you watch a lot of DVD reruns of shows from the 60s and 70s, all the guest stars, and I call them the This Man and That Man. Like from when they'd show the beginning of Mission Impossible, This Man, William Smith, all kinds of cool guys and everything that would be and stuff. All the background of all the people that were writing, directing, producing, coming up. Even this had the ties to Fleming from Bond, the beginning of the show. There you go. So until next time, more awesome collection. Classic TV, Pop Culture Edition. Look at how less expensive a book was back then. Until next time, thanks for watching, everyone.